The first time I saw her, I couldn't stop laughing. Not because it was funny, well, maybe a little, but because I had never imagined anyone like her could exist. She stood at the edge of the docking platform, arms crossed, eyes scanning the horizon of a world that was utterly alien to me. Her skin shimmered faintly in shades of violet and silver, and faint bioluminescent patterns pulsed across her arms with every heartbeat. Her hair, if it could even be called that, floated around her head like a halo of light, moving as if it had a mind of its own. She was magnificent, intimidating, and utterly foreign. And yet, the first words out of my mouth were, "Ha wow, that's something else." She turned her gaze on me, sharp, piercing, and cold. "Keep laughing, human," she said, her voice smooth but laced with warning. "You'll regret it." I snorted. "Regret it? Come on, you look amazing." "I didn't mean." Her eyes narrowed. She took a single step toward me, and suddenly the world seemed to shrink. I felt the weight of her presence, a gravitational pull I hadn't known could exist outside of planets and stars. Every instinct I had screamed at me to stop talking, to stop laughing, to stop existing, but my mouth, as usual, had its own ideas. "You think this is a joke?" she asked, her voice calm now, but every word a razor cutting through the air between us. I swallowed hard. No joke. I mean, you're wow." My voice trailed off as her next step closed the distance. I had been too bold, too human, too loud. And now, I was standing on the brink of something I didn't understand at all. Her name was Lyara. At least, that was what she told me after she deemed it safe enough to speak. She belonged to a species known as the Kha'ren, a proud, warrior-like people who ruled over several star systems. Humans, as she explained with a mix of disdain and curiosity, were considered novel but ultimately inconsequential in the galactic hierarchy. I found that part funny in retrospect, but at the time, I couldn't laugh anymore. Not because she had scared me, well, maybe a little, but because something in her presence demanded respect, and caution, and attention. Our first mission together was unexpected. I was a liaison for human exploratory teams, tasked with negotiating trade agreements and technological exchanges. Lyara had been assigned as my security detail, or perhaps as my judge. It was unclear. Her orders were simple: keep the human alive and report on his behavior. Simple until I kept laughing at everything. Every awkward moment, every mistake, every misunderstanding between human culture and Kha'ren expectations. "You are insufferable," she said during our third day aboard the transport ship heading to the mining colony on Tralix 9. "Do you understand the gravity of the situation?" I grinned sheepishly. "I understand it's serious, and yet, here I am laughing. Does that make me insufferable?" Her lips twitched, not quite a smile, more like the hint of a warning. "One more laugh, human, and your insufferability will become irrelevant." It was only a half-threat, but I felt it in my bones. She wasn't joking. That much was clear. The journey to Tralix 9 was fraught with minor disasters. Space storms, equipment malfunctions, and aggressive alien wildlife made every day a trial. And yet, Lyara remained an unflinching presence at my side. She was meticulous, calculating, and terrifyingly fast in a fight. But when we weren't in danger, I saw the flickers of something else: curiosity, amusement, even a trace of camaraderie. It was during one of the worst storms, when the ship's hull had taken critical damage, that her warning finally took on new meaning. We had landed on a nearby asteroid to make repairs, and a rogue ion storm was fast approaching. The Kha'ren had a tradition of dealing with storms directly. They faced them head-on as warriors. Humans, apparently, screamed and hid behind machinery. I was somewhere in between. Lyara handed me a repair tool. "Do not fail me, human," she said. I laughed. Nervously. "Fail you?"
Me?
"Never." Her eyes narrowed, and for the first time, I felt true fear. Not for my life, but for the inevitable consequences of my arrogance. She stepped closer, the air between us charged. "Stop laughing," she said.
Now.
And then the storm hit. Lightning-like bursts of plasma danced across the asteroid's surface. The repair equipment sparked in my hands. I stumbled, and a massive shard of crystal from the asteroid's core flew toward me. Without thinking, Lyara moved. She didn't just step closer. She lunged, wrapping an arm around me and pulling me out of the path of destruction. We tumbled across the jagged rocks, and I finally stopped laughing. My chest heaved. My adrenaline spiked. I looked at her, fully realizing what her step had done, not just in distance, but in meaning. She had saved me. "You will not laugh again," she said, still holding me close, her voice low and steady. I nodded, finally understanding the gravity of her earlier warning. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't play. It was life, death, and something more complicated that I couldn't name yet. The aftermath of the storm was quieter, filled with cautious respect. We repaired the ship and continued to Tralix 9, navigating negotiations and conflicts that threatened to erupt at any moment. And through it all, Lyara's presence was constant, a reminder of the thin line between humor and disaster, human impulsiveness and Kha'ren precision. Days turned into weeks. Missions became routine. And yet, every interaction with her carried a subtle tension, a push and pull between fear and fascination, respect and something more personal. I began to notice her in ways that went beyond her warrior grace. The way her eyes softened when no one was watching, the faintest smile when a human mistake was amusing, and the moments when her guard dropped just enough for me to glimpse her true self. It wasn't until we were trapped in a collapsing cave on Tralix 9, the ground cracking beneath us as rogue tectonic shifts threatened to bury us alive, that I realized just how much I had come to depend on her. I panicked. I laughed nervously, tried to make a joke, and nearly sealed our fate. Lyara's step toward me was instantaneous. She grabbed my arm, pulled me behind a solid rock formation, and held me close. Her body shielded mine, her eyes locking with mine in a moment that transcended species, protocol, and the very concept of danger. "You will not laugh," she whispered. "Not now, not ever, unless you wish to test fate." I nodded, for once silent. I understood completely. The step she had taken toward me wasn't just movement. It was protection, assertion, and perhaps care. We survived the cave collapse, battered and exhausted. When we emerged, the horizon of Tralix 9 was painted in the fading light of the planet's twin suns. For the first time, I saw her smile. Not the warning smile, not the half smile that threatened danger, but a genuine smile, small but unmistakable. "I suppose," I said cautiously, "this means you forgive me for laughing?" Her eyes met mine, and for a moment, the galaxy around us disappeared. "Perhaps," she said, voice softer than I had ever heard. "But remember, one misstep, one laugh at the wrong moment, and fate will remind you why I warned you." I laughed softly, not nervously, not foolishly, but with a relief and understanding that bridged the gap between human impulsiveness and Kha'ren precision. She didn't move to stop me. Instead, she stayed by my side, a silent guardian and perhaps something more. In that moment, I realized the truth. Laughter, courage, and folly had brought me to her, but respect, understanding, and shared danger would bind us together. The universe was vast, full of threats and wonders, but with her step toward me, everything had changed. My life, my understanding of alien civilizations, and even my heart had shifted irreversibly. And so, as the suns of Tralix, 9 dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of violet and gold, I knew one thing for certain. I would never laugh at her warnings again. Not because I was afraid, but because I finally understood their meaning. Lyara's next step had changed everything. It had changed me.